Hello everyone and thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to be looking at XRP against Ripple. Against Bitcoin. Just kind of basically breaking down what's happening the past little over 2 weeks. And to say at the very least, it's impressive. We are looking at from the local bottom to where we are right now, 110% move, and to the wick we're looking at 170%. So impressive nonetheless in relatively short amount of time, and that is the name of the game with Ripple. When it moves quick, and it moves, it's a very short window of capitalizing on it. The rest of the time, it's in terrible straits. And I guess the main question here is, well, is what we're seeing here, this current move where the price is now trading at 3,200 satoshis, is that the beginning phases of something like this, or something like this? Because those are the parts of XRP where we want to be a part of. We definitely do not want to be a part of like movements like these, or even during a bull market like that happened, this happened, and all of that happened. And I don't care if you're in it for the tech. It's never fun when you buy up here and watch your profits go down to 90+% down. Every $100 you put in, it's now worth $10. Congratulations. And no matter, like, no amount of saying like I'm in it for the tech, I'm in it for the technology, is going to convince me otherwise. Because regardless how I feel, right? Like, if I believe in Bitcoin, which I feel like it's gonna help change industries. It's never fun watching your profits go down 80%. It's never fun, and money's important. So in this case, is the move that we see right now, part of this massive move, and we're just in the beginning stages of it. And from what we see when we look at XRP, my initial answer is no. And I'll bring out the Bitcoin chart here. I'll remove this, and we'll bring out it like a candle, like that. Okay. So when did actually, you know what, probably a better way of me doing this is, sorry, just bear with me 1 second while I get this chart set up for y'all. It's Poloniex. Okay, so here we see a stacked view of XRP and Bitcoin. Um, when we look at, when does XRP make its move? Well, we see it was March 27th. That was when Bitcoin shot past the prior all-time high, came back down and made its support. Simple as that. The next time it ran, it was when Bitcoin made its all-time high, and every single altcoin under the sun was also making moves similar to this. Not as massive, but moves nonetheless. So, uh, looking at where we are right now, it is possible, but I'd say we're not there yet, and it's not. We're not at a place where I'm ready to put my money where my mouth is. Uh, if this is going to repeat, then Bitcoin would have to be above, its prior all-time high, and come back down and make its support. And if we can get a confirmation that it made support, then that's when the real question starts. That's when, like, for me, and this is not financial advice, you can do what you want, but that's at that point, that's when I look at the XRP chart against Bitcoin and say, okay, where are we, right? What if we're up here? Well, from 79,000 Satoshi, 7,900 Satoshis, what is the average return rate? Well, here I have two lines, right? Uh, this middle line here, makes contact with a lot more parts of XRP than the top one, and this would probably be if XRP, if I did buy XRP and I bought it in this lower region here, this would be my initial sell target right here, one of them at least. And then I'd have like a Hail Mary position up to here if it ever comes back to here. And that's even a big if. So if I did buy it up here, I'm looking maybe at a 21% gain if that's the case. And if it does, go up to this top region here, then it's 189%. Which in the grand scheme of things, for how risky XRP is in general, the return just doesn't justify the risk. And yes, XRP is an extremely risky coin because like you could see the same chart that I'm looking at. Like most of it is going down, and it's just these small blips of massive moves and then coming back down. Happens every time, and that makes it inherently risky. So to kind of, I guess, bring it back home, we have to know when Bitcoin makes that move, we got to look at where XRP is. Ideally, in my mind, we would have to be in the lower region for me to ever consider it. Even at these prices, it's hard for me to consider. Um, for for a 200% gain, under 200% gain to where we are, and a like and the Hail Mary 600%. And don't get me wrong, 200%, 180%, 600% are great, decent profits, and 600% is amazing profits. But I can guarantee you that there are going to be other coins that are arguably less risky than XRP that will probably give you around the same amount of return on average. Um, the, the 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 reward has to be immense, and only when it's in within this region here. Like here, let me paint you something. If XRP, like the local low for XRP against Bitcoin was about 1700 sats. If Bitcoin went past the all-time high, came back down and made its support, and it was around 2000 sats, I'd consider buying. That's a pretty good buy, I think. And that position will be very small, but calculating the amount of return that I'm going to get it's going to be enough for me to be happy. So I think that's something that you need to keep in mind. If you did buy up here, then you really better hope that Bitcoin does make it past its all-time high in short fashion, because if it doesn't, then I am fairly confident that this is going to start to slowly bleed back down if it doesn't cross the prior all-time high in short fashion. Um, because we see when this happens, whenever it pumps, no matter how big of a pump or how small of a pump it is, it always seems to bleed back down to lower lows. um, like the recent memory is a good example of this. Like here, I know I'm arguably comparing oranges to apples, but when we look here, there was a major pump. People were saying it was a major pump. 36% move to the upside, then we started bleeding slowly. um, a 41% move to the upside, then we started bleeding slowly. It happened in recent memory. It has a good chance of happening again, and the only thing that will change that is if Bitcoin moves past the prior all-time high, it comes back down and makes its support. It's the only scenario in my mind that I can fathom at this moment where this trend still continues up. Now, why it's already moved 100%, up to 180%, well, one could argue is that there's a lot of people looking at Bitcoin and seeing the possibility. And at this point, they're willing to bite the bullet and make the risk, that trade. And that's fine. And if it does pay off, then you have made a lot of money. And for all of those people who did buy, at 3,000 sats, same to you. You're going to make a lot of money if this does play off in short fashion. If it doesn't, then you risk your position slowly bleeding, for several weeks. um, and you either A, have to be okay with that, or B, get out of your position now when you're up, if you're up, and wait for a better opportunity. Now, I'm sure a lot of people who buy XRP, um, kind of convince themselves that they're okay with these slow bleeds. Um, I would argue that to reevaluate, because no sane person is okay having their position go down 90%. It just doesn't make sense to me. So with that said, look at where you bought XRP. Look at the potential return for XRP, because like, if moving up to this level is hard, this is going to be even harder, and moving even further up than this, I think is a hard is very hard to convince me otherwise that even has a remote chance of ever going back up to these levels above, what is this, 22, 23,000 sats. Hard to believe. Now, mind you, that the US dollar can, move up exponentially, but that is again indicative of Bitcoin. And that's really all I got to say about that. Um, so in closing, I implore you, and again, this is not a financial advice, but I really strongly recommend that you take a hard look, if you bought XRP, where you bought it, and then make rational decisions on where you can expect returns. How long will you be waiting for to expect returns? Because you might be waiting for for several weeks, several months. It all depends on when Bitcoin decides to hop over the fence of 20K. And you need to be okay. Okay, you need to be okay during that period of waiting your position to slowly bleed. That's all. Anyway, uh thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Take care.